Magnus won the Esport World Cup, but what's happened in the last game was unbelievable. In the final, Magnus faced Daniil Lazovic. Magnus had already won the first game 3-1 and it was 2-1 in the second game. He was playing what could be the final game of the entire match. A draw was all he needed to become a champion. Everything seemed under control until Magnus lost the queen. But let's see what's happened. Game started with e4, c6, so then he started to play the Caro-Kann, so d4 for Magnus and d5 for Dennis. E takes d5, c takes d5, c4, and in this position Dennis decided to play knight f6. They develop all the knights, so knight c3, knight c6, knight f3, and here Dennis played a6. a6 to play or b5 in the future or for not allow Magnus to play something like knight b5 next move. C takes d5, knight takes d5, bishop c4. Magnus develop also the bishop. Now the bishop is ready to attack the knight. King is ready to castle. So everything is under control for Magnus. Bishop e6 was another good move for Dennis, defending the d5 knight. And here Magnus played knight g5 because he wanted to remove the defender of d5. Knight takes c3 was the move that Dennis played, and in this position, the move that Magnus played was bishop take e6. You know that now queen is under attack, and so that's the move that Dennis played. Knight takes d1. Seems everything fine for Dennis because he won the pawn and queen, but as you can see, the evaluation bar is 0.0, so it means that position is equal. Magnus took the pawn on f7, king d7 was the only move that he could play, bishop e6 continued to attack the king, and king moved on c7. Bishop f4 check, king b6 again, so Dennis was a queen up, but he continued to move the king on b6 right now. Rook takes d1, king a7, and d5 for Magnus. K continued to attack because his opponent couldn't develop anything. The bishop is completely blocked by his pawns. Rook are blocked, they couldn't be developed. And the only move that in this position Dennis decided to play for open the position was queen a5 check, bishop d2, and here Dennis played knight b5. Maybe in this position you can think to play something like a3 because you say, okay, I'm attacking the knight, and if we remove the knight, I can win the opponent queen. But if you do that, the opponent can play just knight c2 check, so that's a previous move. So after, for example, king e2, queen b5 check, king f3, and black take the position back. So in this position, Magnus decided to play the move for put his king completely safe. E castle. G6 only move for black. In this position, okay, you can think maybe I need to save the knight doing something like that, but something like bishop e3 was coming. It could cover, for example, with b6, but rook c1 continue to attack. That's the white plan. So black didn't have to allow white to continue to attack. But white play a3, queen b5, bishop takes, bishop g7, and here after bishop takes e7, he won another pawn, rook e8, position was still equal. That's super not so common, this line, and obviously not so easy to play for both, to be honest. But white has more space in this position, so probably I could take white if I have to play this line. h6 for black, knight f7, and here the blunder that Dennis played. He played rook take e6 because he said, maybe I would like to simplify the position a little bit. I sack a rook for a piece, but maybe I can try to take this pawn and maybe everything can be fine for me. But that's not true because queen f5 was the move that Dennis played. So white decided to play b4 first because this move was not possible. Otherwise, bishop c5 check, this move. And after rook d6, white is attacking this pawn and he could win easily. Okay, maybe white can play something like this, but rook take b6, and how can you save this position? You have to remove the rook from here, but rook f6 and everything is fine because white take the queen back and he can win this endgame super easily. So he played b4, and black played rook c8 for having a more active rook. But that's not so the best move in this position, because white decided to defend the pawn, and pawn is ready to be promoted. Bishop c3, attacking the rook. Here, white decided to check with bishop c5, rook takes c5, b takes e5, bishop takes e1, rook takes e1. And in this position, Dennis resigned. Magnus won because this pawn is unstoppable and white can win this game easily. Guys, I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you like the video, if you like the game, text me what do you think about this game in the comments. Like the video, follow the channel, and see you on next video.